Well, welcome, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's my first time doing anything like this. I'm
Is it
surprised.
really? Okay.
Yeah, I've pretty much been in Utah, my whole airsoft life, I guess you could say. You
Yeah.
know,
Are you from Utah originally?
yeah, born and raised. Yeah, I left for a few years when I joined the Marines, but that was just like 5 years, and then I came back, and I've been here since.
Oh, Jesus. You're another fucking jarhead. Okay.
Yeah, it's a high school thing. I just didn't want to go to college and couldn't afford it. So
Yeah,
it's it was definitely worth it, I think.
for sure,
Yeah.
man. I went in, I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, active duty, from 89 to 1993.
Oh wow.
A long time ago. I'm
West
old as
Coast,
fuck,
East
man.
Coast.
East Coast. Yeah.
Uh, Yeah,
Parris Island.
uh,
Y'all
yeah.
fuckers went to MCRD San Diego. Okay. Hollywood and shit.
It's more depressing because every day you wake up and you see the planes leaving, and you're like, man, I could hop that fence, and run on the flight line.
Oh, we didn't have that.
It's really weird. Yeah, 'cause it's like right next to the airport.
Right. We didn't really have that too much. We had it was swamps
What,
and you know around
what
that surrounded us.
was it pretty isolated, like forest, or
Yeah, it's very
could you see the
isolated.
town or city?
No, no,
Okay,
no. It
that's
is
completely
very
opposite then.
isolated.
Yeah. Because I know at night, I remember distinctly seeing like the fireworks outside my window a lot of
Yeah.
times at SeaWorld. Just
Oh
because
shit.
cause you're like basically right in the middle of San Diego. It's so weird,
Right.
you know? Yeah, compared to, East Coast, which is, it's got the history and it's like a proper training.
Oh,
You
it
know what I
is
mean?
isolated as fuck, man. Like out in the
Yeah,
middle of
like,
nowhere. It's in a town that is really even today. I went in fucking 30 years ago. Even today, this town is pretty small. Beaufort, South Carolina. Nobody even knows about this shit. Okay, um, and it's surrounded by swamps on one side, and there's one way in, one way out. So it is very isolated, and I'm pretty sure the Marines still do it today in boot camp. Is they separate the girls and the guys. They did it like that back then. We don't train together. The women and or the
yeah, yeah.
male and
At least at
female.
boot camp, I know a lot of the MOSs now, they're pretty, I think infantry, they allow women to join. I don't know if that's changed, but yeah, I think boot camp, though, it's still segregated.
Right. Well,
Which
when
I
did you
think
go in?
2007, like pretty
Okay.
much right out of high school. Like I was, nerdy Asian kid growing up. I had all my credits and stuff, so I actually went to boot camp after my first semester of my senior year. So I didn't even graduate high school by the time I joined. Had like the recruiter had to come in to my high school, then my parents had to sign off on it because I was still 17.
Oh
So
shit.
like yeah, so like after my first semester, summer break, pretty much I went to boot camp, and then I just kind of vanished. I
Oh
missed my high
shit.
school. Yeah, I missed my high school graduation because the thing is, my recruiter, he's probably desperate. I didn't realize it at the time,
Yeah.
but yeah, the way he convinced me was, yeah, Bruce, you can join, go to boot camp for 3 months, whatever, go to your MOS school, and then by the time you get back, you can take a recruiter's assistant leave or whatever they called it.
Right.
And you could like imagine, getting your high school diploma, you dress blues, and like he like told me this big story, and pretty much just to convince me because I'm sure he had a quota to meet. Like that's how he got me to join in the middle of the school year. So it was pretty crazy.
Oh, it's funny. I had seen Full Metal Jacket and whenever that came out in '87 or something,
Uh-huh.
and so I was fucking stoked
Just
to go to boot camp. And then when I got to boot camp, I was like, "What the fuck?"
yeah, I'm sure it's one or two different, right, from the movie. If you went there in the '80s,
hmm
they're like a lot of stuff still looked similar.
Yeah, everything looked exactly the same, dude. I'm not even shitting.
Well, because
Because that was
yeah,
filmed
because
at Paris
yeah, they
Island.
shot it there, yeah. So it's all the exact same shit. Yeah,
Right. It was the same stuff. The only difference, and our training was the same, boot camp was the same as far as, getting yelled, like all that shit. I'm sure yours was too. But we had three drill instructors that were constant, and
yeah.
sometimes we'd have four. So,
Yeah, I
Was
think
that
it
how
did.
it was for you guys?
Yeah, it was the three and then the senior, which you'd see like maybe once a week, and then you have the three that are the ones that
Yeah.
are with you the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
our
heavy hat,
yeah,
whatever they call them.
our heavy was like a really like he was like almost 7 feet tall, but he weighed like 100 pounds. Just a super lanky, tall white
Oh
dude.
shit.
And he's like
Yeah.
a it's like a skeleton, but he's terrifying.
Well, bro, have you seen? So I didn't know this before I went to boot camp, but the drill instructors like the drill instructor school that they go to
Uh-huh.
is like going through boot camp again.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw a little short little YouTube breakdown, but it was like 2 minutes long. They didn't really go into detail, but yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like they beat the shit out of them, like run them into the dirt. Like I think that's why a lot of them look so fucking gaunt when they pick us up. Our platoons.
Yeah, yeah. But the big thing is, since for people joining in, they, like to say, lead by example. You can't have them be in what's it called, looking weak in any way.
Right.
You know how when you're doing your ruck marches, they're just running up and down the line, doing all this crazy shit, and they gotta look pretty much, they gotta look pretty much invincible to your eyes. Like you can't catch them slipping. Like that would just
Right.
ruin the whole illusion. Because I know that's one of the big differences, I guess you would say, between all the branches. Because that's I talked to some people, the way their boot camps were. Like the
Yeah.
big thing, the Marine Corps boot camp compared to the Army, for example, is how they just break you down to like nothing, and anyone that like tries to
Right.
act hard or whatever, they kind of like squash that immediately. Like they don't let any of that stuff slip through. So everyone's on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the biggest thing that surprised me, just talking with other people and how theirs were. Because like for example, from before I deployed in 2007, we did our training in March Air Force Base. Like,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's also where the airmen boot camp is. I guess you would never know it because if you look at the way the base is set up, it looks like a resort, like no shit. And we would see that you see like
Fucking Air Force, bro.
yeah. So we see them doing a little PT formation in like the parking lot.
Yeah.
They got their fancy tracksuits on. They're kind of yelling at them, but and
They're
I thought it was just
motivating them.
yeah, well, yeah, because when I first walked by, because we were just waking up to go to flight line to do more training, and I thought it was just some like company of airmen just like doing their morning workout, but let's go. That was their boot camp. It was just you know it was so weird. It was like such a mind blow. Yeah. Plus, they were
Oh, it's
staying in
so different.
basically hotels, their
Right.
barracks. It wasn't like a big squad bay. It was like they had their own rooms. Like, man, this
Oh,
is like
dude.
completely different.
My daughter,
Yeah.
my wife and I have 5 kids. We have 3 boys, 2 girls. One of my girls went into the Air Force. So she went to Texas, um, and to boot camp, whatever. So we went there for her graduation, and so she takes us through the barracks, and I'm like, this is for boot camp?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm like, "Oh my God."
Like a
It's
nice
so
summer. It's like a
crazy.
summer camp retreat.
Oh, dude, for real. Yeah, it's funny. So, and they don't qualify with rifles. She
Yeah,
didn't, yeah, they carried around, she had a fake gun, M, well, I guess like an M4. I mean, I trained with
just one like
M16.
those rubber training ones with the that you
Yes.
train with. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. She carried that around, just to learn how to handle it. Maybe she did shoot one. I can't remember, to be honest.
I'm sure they
This
got to
was
at least shoot once at least. Yeah, but they probably didn't
I
do
think
like
so.
qualification or anything too intense.
I think it
Yeah,
was like either it was very short, like 1 day or 1 week or something like that.
one afternoon.
1 hour,
Yeah,
one magazine. That's it.
yeah,
So they it was so different. It was wild when we went there. I was like, okay, all right, it's cool. I mean, I had known the chow halls when I my first duty station. The first time I experienced Air Force life, I guess, the difference or saw the difference
yeah.
was when I landed, or when I got stationed in Okinawa, Japan.
Oh no.
So I land over there. We fly into Kadena Air Force Base, and Of course, I get, stationed at my unit, which was at Camp Foster and Camp Butler slash Foster, whatever. And so Kadeena's not that far from, well, nothing's really that far in
The
Hawaii.
island's not that big, right?
Yeah, it's
Overall.
fucking like 65 miles long.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing. 25 miles wide, I think. So Kadeena's close. So we'd go there. We'd go in there. I think we went there twice to kind of like sneak into the chow hall. The chow hall looked like a fucking five-star restaurant, bro. I could not believe it.
Everything's made to order.
It was crazy. Like they had greeters in the front. Uh, I was like, where are we?
That like a maitre d to show you to your table. Yeah.
Have you seen that dude online that does? I can't remember his account, his channel name, whatever. He does all these things on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. He'll do these short videos where he does he's a army vet, I think,
Okay.
and he'll do these short videos comparing the different branches. So he'll just act it out, like army with when like some kind of category of thing or whatever,
Yeah.
how you react. And he'll do the Air Force and the Navy. The Navy guys are always, he wears these like shorty shorts that are real tight, with like a cut off t-shirt. It's so funny, man. And the Marines are just like, oh, oh, like hold a gun, like kind of like where to shoot, who to kill,
Yeah, just brain dead, I guess. Yeah.
he's got a couple of, biting on a crayon or whatever. So, crayon eaters.
Yeah, yeah, they were still saying that growing up. It was like I didn't really get it.
Hmm.
Because everyone assumes, Marines, you're infantry, which I kind of thought when I first joined as well.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize the military was like not just one job, you know?
No shit, right?
Yeah, like that's probably the biggest surprise for me, actually. Yeah, we're like 80% of like any branch is like every other job, offices, driving
Yeah.
trucks or mechanics or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Like each branch handles all their own shit. Like
Yes. So what did you do when you were in
I
your
was
main MOS?
motor transport.
Okay.
So I drove trucks.
Yeah, I worked with those guys. I don't know if they had them back then, but it was a landing support specialist. We're the ones that had the red patches on our uniform.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a thing back then, but basically we're just like let's say if you're landing in Kadena, for example, and let's say if that happened to be a Marine Corps run flight line, you would usually see a Marine with like a little red square on his cover and like two little red rectangles on the side of his knees, and he'd
Yeah.
probably be like directing like the drivers to load the pallets on or like handing off a manifest or walking people up to a
Oh,
plane.
okay.
So it's basically like logistics, airport
Right.
shit.
Logistics, right.
Yeah,
For the
yeah,
airline.
yeah.
Or
But
for
but
the flights.
yeah, because I guess historically it'd be like it would also include railways, but of course you don't really do that anymore. So now
Right.
it's mainly flight lines and maybe beaches. I don't know if we did training for that, but I was like, I don't know if anyone's ever going to do a beach landing anytime soon.
Right.
But the cool thing that I didn't know much because I just kind of ended up with that MOS. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I
Gotcha.
guess we're the only branch because I'm sure you noticed it too. You know how like the army, for example, they have like 50 million different patches to designate like, okay, this is my
Yep.
company, this is like
Yep.
my like little qualifications in my airborne, and you have all the cool
Bro, they get a
badges.
patch or a ribbon or some shit for
Yeah.
throwing one grenade in boot camp, okay?
Yeah, but the big thing is like they wear all the utilities, like they have like 50 million different things you can wear. Usually for us, it just only be in your dress uniform or whatever, like your
Right.
extra badges and shit. Otherwise, in your utilities, it'd just be your rank
Yeah.
basically, and maybe like jump wings or something sewn in.
Right.
So the cool thing about my MOS was we're like the only one of the only MOSs that could like alter the utility uniform, but have those little stupid red patches.
Oh
I,
shit.
I thought it
Okay.
was kind of yeah, because like I didn't realize until like after we did our MOS go with Cap Elliott in
Yeah.
North Carolina, South Carolina, I forget, somewhere on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
But then after I got to stationed back on the West Coast in Oceanside, I noticed like yeah, like the Marines, like, no, you can't alter your uniform really anyway. You just have your little, rank insignia on your collar. Maybe you could sew your name tapes, like, on the inside where it's not visible. But like, invisible alterations were like one of the only MOSs that are allowed, which I thought was pretty interesting.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, I don't, yeah, I don't remember, I don't have any memory of seeing that or noticing that.
Well, because I imagine, if you were getting off a plane, you're not looking at like the one, you're probably looking at a million other things.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to Japan, I mean, Japan's a long flight, so it's like
Oh,
I went
oh,
from, so you know how you were talking earlier about you get out of boot camp, you go to you have your leave, and most of us take that the recruiting assistant thing because you
yeah.
get an extra week or whatever,
You
five
get
or
more. You
3 days.
get more time off. Yeah.
Right, you get more time off, and then went to MCT at Camp Geiger. I'm not sure. Where did you guys go to MCT? I'm curious.
Let me look. You keep talking. We look it up real quick. I forgot. It's still in Camp Pendleton, but I forgot the name of
Is
the.
it okay? Is it
It's basically right next
San
to the school.
Onofre or Mateo?
I don't know for sure is that it's basically the same camp as SOI, the School of Infantry, the same area.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah, right. Yeah, that's what. Yep,
it's,
same with
it's
ours. Right.
yes, probably same area.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Geiger is on Lejeune, and that's where the SOI is. Yeah.
Okay.
So we get out of boot camp, we go home, and then we go to MCT for 30 days, and then straight from MCT we go to our schooling. So I signed up for combat engineer because I wanted to build shit, but
Okay.
they were like, "Fuck you, school's full, so pick something else." So they actually gave us a choice, a handful of things. Infantry actually was not one of them, but
That wasn't even an option.
no,
Oh,
it was admin. And there was like, I don't know, a group of 20 of us that the school was full on different things, and admin, motor T, Amtrak, cook, I think, and tanks. Um, One guy chose tank. He went to that. The rest of us chose, um, well, not the rest of us. I can't remember what the other guys chose, but there was like five of us that chose Amtrak. So we went to Amtrak, and that's the amphibious vehicle that transport you from the ship to the shore. Where,
yeah. I think they're
well,
still
when you
basically
do beach
they
landings,
still use it today, as far as I know, right?
do they? Yeah.
I
Okay.
think yeah. Because that's when I was because pretty much their shop is basically where I was, right? In Oceanside. So
Right.
we would see them, taking off all the time, and I thought it was really sick. Just having like you see it go all the way in the water, and just the little 1 foot of it would stick up, and the little
Yeah.
turret. I
The
was
little
like,
stack, the little
yeah,
breather, smokestack or breather stack.
yeah,
Yeah, would stick up. Yeah. I went to school. Well, you had to. So if you go to school for that, or those guys that drive that, so in boot camp you do that swim call.
uh-huh.
Well, that's like what I don't know what they call it, S3 or something like that.
There's like I think
Um,
4 different levels. Like the easiest one was just if you could float, then you pass. I think it was four. Yeah, I think four. I think it's 4 to 1. I did four, and I'm like, yeah, I hate swimming. I pass. I'm not going to do the. I think two or one is the one where they like try to drown you, and you have to like fight off the
yes.
instructor. Which I didn't see it, but I talked to a guy that did it. He said, yeah, like I wanted to die. Because you're blacking out and you're drowning, and like someone's choking you. I can't even imagine how
Oh yeah.
terrifying. Because I could barely swim to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shit. I thought I was a great swimmer growing up. Even my teenage years and everything, and I loved being in the water. And I thought, "Pff, yeah, send me to that class. I'll pass the test, no problem." And I got to the last part, and yeah, almost drowned. Didn't make it, and because we were on a timeline with choosing what school to go to, there was no requals like the next day, so
Oh, I
it
see.
was like one and done. Yeah, so I was like, "Fuck." I was really, honestly, I think in my lifetime, that point right there was the biggest uh, bash to my ego that I had ever had because I was always kind of a natural in sports, athletic.
Yeah,
Any sport I tried, I was good at, like decent at. I wasn't great, but it came natural. So
like you wouldn't be struggling like any
no,
you'd pick
never
it up quick
struggled.
enough.
Didn't
Yeah,
even like football practice. I mean, they would push you, but I enjoyed being, pushed like that. I enjoyed being like out of breath to where you think you're going to pass out. So I thought, however, whatever sport it was, I would just keep trying to get better. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll pass the swim thing, and I about fucking drowned. They had to come in. The instructor had to come in and pull me up from the bottom. So
oh,
yeah, dude. Uh, so anyway, it crushed my fucking ego, but I had to pick something else. So me and a couple guys, it was down to admin, cook, and motor transport. And so there was like, I don't know, five of us that we chose motor transport. We actually went to the same school, and then three of us got stationed in Okinawa together.
oh, that's always
And
nice. Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of cool. So we went to Okinawa for a year and spent the year over there at Ninth Motors Battalion. And then I got stationed at Camp Pendleton at Edson Range, which is where you
Oh yeah, I mean
guys,
MCT. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, when you guys go
Oh no,
to,
wait. Oh,
yeah,
it's their boot camp. Boot camp.
you
That's where they go to
qualify at boot camp.
qualify. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then when you go to MCT, you probably go out there for the machine gun range and the grenades and shit like that. So
How'd you like Camp Pendleton versus? Were you ever stationed on the East Coast, like after boot camp, or no?
no, I
Okay,
went to Japan and
I
Camp
just that was
Pendleton,
your
so I was
first.
always,
Okay,
yeah, I was West Coast.
all right, nice.
Hell yeah, dude.
I guess a good transition, I guess, since you bring it up Okinawa. That the Have you ever heard of the MSG program?
Yes, Marine Security Guard. A
Yeah. So
buddy of mine went.
after my
Buddy,
first, yeah, the Marine security guards. Yeah.
oh,
So
you did
like,
that.
yeah, I did 3 years. So that's why I did 5 years instead of like the generic
Mm-hmm.
four for the one two one enlistment. So I had to
Right.
extend 1 year to do the 3 year contract with that.
No
Yeah. So
shit.
that's yeah. So the camp is it's in Quantico, East Coast, the FBI and all
Right.
that cool shit. Yeah. So we did that training, which is basically just run of the mill security training. Basically, you batons, pistol,
Anti-terrorist
shotgun.
training. Yeah, the baton shit. Yep.
Yeah, so it's basically just like basically law enforcement, basic law enforcement shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, depending on how well you do, or I guess how much the instructors like you get to put in like five choices for the first country you want to get stationed in because you get three eventually,
Yeah.
and then depending if they like you or not, I guess you get your first choice, second choice, third choice. And I've always been into anime and video games and shit, so I chose Tokyo, Japan. And I was probably one of the higher, at least academically scoring
Yeah.
of the breeds there. I was never physically well, but I think because I get along with pretty much anyone, I kind of like made it pretty well through the Marine Corps that way, even though like I'm like barely passing the PFT. So, but yeah, pretty much I'm a good friend of everybody, which yeah, yeah. So yeah, because I did so well my first year as a Marine security guard was in Tokyo, Japan. And that's actually where I learned how to, that was my first introduction to airsoft as well. Because some of the,
What?
yeah,
You played
and
airsoft in Tokyo, Japan.
uh, technically it's like in Chiba, which is like outskirts. It's like an
Right.
hour by train. But that's
I've
my
heard of
first
it.
introduction. Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen pictures and video, but yeah, I don't want to. I'm not trying to talk bad on North American airsoft, but just like being my first introduction,
Yeah.
and then coming here, it's like it was so different.
Really?
I've learned to love airsoft, here in Utah as well. But just like for example, I'm sure like because Tokyo is like basically what everybody uses, at
Right.
least back in like 2009 when I was there. Everything's like shooting like 300 FPS max. Yeah, all of them
Okay.
had pretty good range too, just because everything was tuned pretty well.
Mm.
Like your average age of the airsofter would be like 40, and every weekend, no matter what field I went to, there'd be like 100 people. It was crazy. That was
Wow.
normal to me back then, but now coming here, it's like it's kind of hit or miss. especially in the
Uh-huh.
winter because it's cold. Less people like to come out unless it's like a bigger planned event.
Right.
Yeah, so that was probably my first introduction in
That's
dogs.
wild, dude. So you got stationed over there in
Yeah,
Tokyo or around
yeah,
there for
yeah. The embassy was in Tokyo. Yeah, the guys that introduced me was some Filipino guys that worked in like the finance section.
uh-huh.
I only met them because um, I would go there and cash checks, to get yen, the local currency.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I kind of met him, and then he showed me his desk, and he had those little 1/6, what do you call it? Those 1/6 scale like military figurines. Have you seen those? Where like they have
Huh.
like super detailed uniforms and gear and like weapons. It's basically like a modern day GI Joe, but it's like cool.
No shit.
Yeah, but he had like his whole desk was just decked out. He just loved military shit. So
Yeah.
he always made a point to like try to get as many Marines as he could, to like join him every weekend to play airsoft.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. And, oh
That's
man.
wild, bro. Okay.
Yeah, the thing I miss the most is probably just, I don't know, the community there was just so, it's hard to explain. Uh, for one, everybody called their hit. I don't think I've ever had any issues. Because no Americans, I don't know, we're just cocky assholes, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think well, for sure, huge
yeah,
difference in culture when it comes to that stuff because when I was in Okinawa, the that was one of the biggest things that impressed me about their culture was how respectful everybody was. Like character and respect were a huge deal. And it was just like a noticeable difference for sure.
it's all starts early too. Because have you seen how they like start elementary? Like they don't have janitors. Like all these students clean up after themselves. Like at the end of the day, they
Oh, I didn't
also
know that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Then oh, sorry, my computer almost turned off. But okay, yeah, yeah. And I know, like in some elementaries, they have programs where like the students would serve. I guess they do it here too. They would serve each other lunch. Like they would bring in like lunch cards, and they like instill like teamwork and like being
Mm,
respectful and working as a
right.
team as very young age.
Okay.
Which is why they don't have a gratuity isn't a thing in Japan. No
Mm,
tips. Everyone's expected to do a good job and say thank you.
right.
Yeah, like that's the hospitality there is you can't beat it. And people
Yeah,
like
no
to make
shit.
jokes, about like, oh, they're all suicidal and they hate their life. Well, sure, there's that's anywhere if you look hard enough.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because then if you look, I think China's even worse if you want to like dig in.
Well, I
But
was gonna say that I've heard
yeah,
that about. Well, I didn't hear about China as a country. I heard about.
let's make the factories, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. They put up the suicide nets or some
yeah,
shit. I
yeah,
heard that
because they're
years
like,
ago.
because they like live on the property, like in campuses. So you're basically
Right.
stuck.
They
You're
work
stuck at
nonstop.
work.
Yeah. Fucking
Yeah,
robots and shit, bro.
yeah. So I can understand it being there, but
Right.
from when I was in Japan, like I didn't really notice. You don't really see homeless people, and I,
No.
I I've been back there like 4 times since then. That's how much I love Japan.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what you did you know you kept in touch with people over there and
Uh,
then
pretty
just
much, uh,
what
pretty much
flew back?
the my buddy Mike, the Filipino guy. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't stay with him, but he'd help. Yeah, like he'd always pick me up from the airport, for example. So it was always nice having to ride on the bullet train to my hotel or whatever.
Right.
Like just like 2 3 years ago, I took my sister for her first time. Mike, we still kept in touch, and he basically chauffeured us everywhere, and he's the type of guy that I don't know. I know he's really well off, but like he'll just like pay for everything, like without question. And
Really?
my sister was like getting so anxious because like he would just pay the bill and before we like let's say we'll go out to dinner and he just paid the bill without saying nothing and she was like, oh well, let me pay you, and then he's just one of those kinds of guys.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure I'm sure him because he grew up half Japanese, half Filipino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I still keep in touch with him, but sadly I haven't had time to airsoft again, even though those 4 times I've been back there. Yeah,
Oh,
kind of.
okay.
Yeah, but I want to go back there one more time, at least to airsoft, or if I win the lottery, I'll definitely move there. Yeah, but
I
culture
always said,
wise, yeah.
yeah, I always said when I was over there, like towards the end of my tour over there, I thought I want to move. When I get out, I want to come back here and live here. I loved Okinawa that much. Like
Did
it
you ever
was
get to visit mainland Japan while you were there, or just stayed on Okinawa?
no, just stay in Okinawa. I went
Ah,
to uh, they sent us to South Korea for 2 months for Operation Team Spirit, which this was 1991 when they did that, and I think it was January, and so kind of like cold weather training, but it's a huge operation they do. I don't know if they still do it today, but it was with it's a joint operation with training op with the South Korean Marines. So they call them ROK Marines, Republic of Korea Marines. So we call them ROK
oh,
Marines, and then us. And so it's this huge fucking mission. I mean, it's a mock war. So everyone has blanks. We do like for real massive.
like those like simulated war games to like
Yeah.
show off all the cool new shit
Yes.
they bought.
Yeah, and you know what was crazy, bro? When I was there, so in South Korea, we went to Busan. We were in Pohang and Busan, and so for this operation, we set up a tent city. We go into town. We start meeting some of the, we go out to the bars and stuff. We start meeting some of the locals, and as we're going there and back, we see some of the ROK Marines on the bus and everything, and we find out that they are like looking up to us, like they're really like they're coming up to us like bowing and wanting to shake our hands kind of thing and whatever, and then we see their training. We pass by some of their training areas, like they're bro. South Korea in January is like fucking wind chill is 50 below zero. Okay, it's
Yeah,
fucking cold as shit. Snow everywhere, and wind is really really strong. We're really close to the ocean, and so like Busan and Pohang are like right on the border or right on the ocean beach or ocean front. So there's constant wind. It's cold as shit, and these guys are out here in shorts and a t-shirt for the training, and bare feet,
nope.
kicking a fucking soccer ball. Uh,
Oh man,
and then in between they have their drill instructors. I don't know, they're sergeants. I don't know, whatever. Uh, Blowing a whistle, and then they drop down and do calisthenics in between kicking the soccer ball. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And these guys are looking up to us, and I'm like, bro, no, you all are the heroes right here.
yeah.
For real.
I think I'm sure they learned a lot of Greek. Not a lot. I'm sure they get a good dose of Greek or history because I'm pretty sure they're probably modeled after a lot of our training, right? Because of the
Yes.
Korean War and all that. So I'm sure
Right.
they have that history. Same with
Yep.
Japan.
Well, that's where we got one of our biggest names, the Korean War, right? The Battle of Belleau Woods, and I mean, not that though. Yeah,
The
Frozen Chosen.
Chosin Reservoir.
Right.
Chosin.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have enough Korean War movies. Oh well, actually, there's one coming out soon. Never mind.
Is it really? Well, it was
uh,
short.
well,
It was. It
well,
wasn't
no,
as big as World War II.
yeah.
There's another one coming out. What is it?
It's not about Marines though. It's a like a jet movie, a devotion. But I
Oh,
think it's
okay.
I don't think it's Marine pilots. Maybe it's Navy pilots, but I think
Yeah.
that's Korean War.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I know a lot of our ditties and songs have roots in Korean War.
Yeah.
What was that? What was the one about the beach landing? Oh, what city was that? What would draw a blank?
What was this now? There's a
Uh,
song.
there was like a ditty about like one of the beach invasions during the Korean War.
Oh God, I don't even remember, bro.
Yeah, I know there's like two or three that were part of the Korean War, but that's only like anything I knew of the Korean War. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just one of those wars that people don't talk about. Or it's not as glamorous, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it wasn't real. Yeah, I don't know why. My dad was in the Korean War in the Navy.
Oh,
Um, so I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird thing because, World War II, of course, huge as far as I guess notoriety. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I think the longevity too helped. You know,
Yeah, it was
more.
long, and it was such a big, like the Korean War. Like, who was the enemy? Like,
Well,
is anybody like
I,
World War II? Okay, Hitler, right? Okay, everyone knows Hitler killed millions and millions of Jews,
yeah.
genocide for no reason or no good reason, and what was Korean War about? Nobody even knows.
Well,
Like, who was the fucking enemy?
but from my understanding, it's basically Cold War shit, just like how Vietnam and like
Right?
Afghanistan. It's all like communism, I guess.
Yeah.
I know we fought Chinese during that time, along with North Korea, I think.
Right.
And then
So
yeah,
North Korea was trying to take over South Korea.
yeah. And then with the help of China, and then South Korea is defending with the help of us. Basically, like what happened in Vietnam. It's the same idea.
Right.
Communism coming
But you know
down.
how like so
Yeah.
World War II has Hitler, Vietnam has Ho Chi Minh, okay?
Oh
Uh
yeah.
fucking and of course Viet Cong, right? Like if you said who is the enemy in Vietnam, people would be like, "Oh, Ho Chi Minh and
Yeah.
fucking the
But
VC."
yeah. Yeah.
You say who's the enemy in World War II? Oh, the fucking Nazis, man. They're evil. And Hitler, they're evil. Uh who's the enemy in the Korean War? Like what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Like the details are hard to come by.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
But that's wild. You got stationed in Tokyo, and then you learned airsoft over there. That I
That was
got to
my
tell you,
first.
man. You're
Yeah.
the first one that yeah, it's the first one I've heard or a story, that has learned airsoft or been introduced to airsoft that way.
Yeah, because
Uh,
like that's the very first time I airsoft, and the closest thing to that was I did paintball a couple times in high school, but
hmm
I didn't really take to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, also in Tokyo, a few of the bigger fields they had, I guess to tie into what I do, they had on-field photographers, and I remember like the first time I saw like a really sick photo of me with my stupid haircut. My freaking, my woodland utility bottoms, and I had like a black T-shirt because I wanted to look like a Call of Duty or something. I
Yeah.
think it had a skull mask because like everybody had those back then,
Fuck yeah.
from like the first Modern Warfare. And I remember my very first airsoft gun was it was an A&K Masada. Yeah, Masada, the ACR. What do you
Oh,
call
I don't
this?
know. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's basically
I don't know much about
basically.
airsoft, man.
Oh, really?
Just so you know. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. But it's like I know it was like a Magpul's first gun they tried to make, and they
Oh
stopped
shit.
doing that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I remember just seeing like a really sick photo of me like like sprinting, and I was like, oh shit. And then I didn't really think about it much until then, until after I moved back here to the States, trying to get into airsoft here, and then I figured, man, like how come no one does that? Just takes like really cool photos during gameplay, because I think it always looks cooler when you're like in the middle of a fight. You have no idea there's some camera dude like sitting in a bush or with like a super long zoom lens.
Right.
Compared to taking photos, on your phone or in the staging area, or
Right.
having to go to like Milsom West or one of those big big what do you call it? Those big ass expensive $500
Yeah,
games.
Milsims.
To have
Right.
so like my thing is you can make with enough effort I can make like your random pickup game and like podunk you know small town Utah look sick as shit. If you put enough effort into it.
Sure.
So I figure all airsofters deserve to have cool photos taken of them, and just know that airsofters are just the rich milsim dudes with their all their real steel gear, and just to show another side of it, I guess.
Right.
But yeah,
So you had your pictures taken over there in Tokyo when you were playing.
I don't have many of them then because like I know they upload it to Facebook, and Facebook compresses them to shit, and they're like super shitty now. But I don't know if I
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I could find any. But yeah, I'm gonna. That's
So
another reason why I take photos at games now as much as I do. Like whenever I go to a game, I'll play for maybe half the day, and then the rest of the day I'll take photos.
okay.
Plus, I've had like this nice camera for the longest time, and I just never used it, so it gives me an excuse to practice.
Now, do you so when you play for anyone listening, I find out about well, your Discord is Bonsai, but your Instagram is After Action Report.
After Action Airsoft.
After Action Airsoft. That's right.
Yeah.
And, so I found out about you from K Factor 39. So he told me that I guess he plays at the same field as you. He knows you.
I I don't see him as much as I used to because he works most Saturdays and he
Mm,
plays Sunday, and I usually play only Saturday. So I see him probably once or twice a month, maybe.
right.
But I've pretty much seen him. I've pretty much known him since I moved back here like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
So yeah, I found out about you from him, and I went to your Instagram. He told me what it was, and I went there, and it's not. You don't have a whole lot on there, to be honest.
Well, oh, if you yeah, 'cause I took the link off because on Instagram you can't really make a clickable link to like the
Right.
Facebook page. Have you looked on the Facebook page since then? Because let me
No.
yeah, because that's where I post the full albums of
All your
like
pictures. Oh,
yeah. Let
okay,
me
okay.
drop it to you real quick. Just see because the Instagram I just kind of made and it's more just like a highlight reel.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, perfect.
yeah. So yeah,
All right, let me look at this. So, anyone that's listening right now, not watching, well, I'll do a video. I'll put this on the video part. But this is the first time that I have done a, podcast, only audio podcast. So podcast. What the fuck is podcast? Um, an only audio version. So I'm going to edit this. When I do edit it, I'll edit it for the video part. I'll put some kind of overlays. I think you know what I'm going to do. Um, if you got enough photos,
yeah. That's I was actually gonna bring that up where
I'll
after we're
do
done
a fucking
talking.
slideshow.
Yeah, so you can like intercut them and just like after we're done talking tonight, for example, and you start editing it,
Yeah.
just send me a list of like, do you have a photo of this and this and this, and I'll try to get as much as I can that you could intercut.
Well, how about this?
Yeah.
I have a good idea. Why don't you send me, or however you want to do it, the easiest way for you, pictures and videos
Okay.
of
I have videos from airsoft from Japan. Actually, I can show you some really old ones.
what? Oh, that'd be awesome, dude. Send
Yeah.
me whatever you think would be good for this video,
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
video version of this podcast, and I'll put that in to the podcast thing. Um, it'll be a great change for most people that usually just watch the
It's
video
just like
instead of listen to
it's
it.
just like webcams usually, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's webcams, and they always see my ugly fucking bug on here. So
Yeah.
this would be great. Good change for that.
Okay.
Mix it up for them. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, dude. Okay. So I'm looking at your Facebook page right now. The link that you sent me. You have shit
Okay.
tons of fucking pictures, bro. I did not know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm trying to
What?
make this a thing more, just really cool photos of like, even
Oh,
most of them are small
bro.
games. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen to me. Listen, listen, listen. I just talked to the podcast that's coming out. Or no, not that one. Um, well, anyway, the podcast one of the podcasts comes out next week.
Okay.
I talked to this lady. She's Click Click Boom Photography, and I was talking to her. She's in Georgia, and she wants to start. She loves taking pictures. She's got this good camera. She started doing it. Her son plays airsoft, so she's like, "Hey, I'll go and take pictures." Well, she started really enjoying it, but she didn't know how to really like monetize what she's doing. So
Does she just post on Facebook like I do, just like, oh, here's the photos from
yes,
this game.
right.
Yeah. Oh,
She
okay.
started kind of doing that. Well, listen, I talked to this guy. You're gonna have to. You don't have to watch or listen to the whole podcast. And these podcasts are on YouTube, of course, but then also on every podcast app you can think of. So all the audio stuff is on Apple Podcasts. All the big ones, whatever, iTunes, iHeartRadio, everything. So you go listen to or watch whatever the one I did with Krios Photography. He's in the UK. He's setting up or he's already set it up a platform for people, photographers like yourself, airsoft only, airsoft photographers, to upload their pictures to his thing, his platform, whether it's a website he set up, whatever, and then you can monetize it. You can get paid. You can sell your pictures on there. And I think it's basically like because he's got a big following. Um, he takes a small percentage, you get the majority. All right, so
Okay.
I can't remember the percentages, but if you reach out to him, um, it's Krios, K
Yeah,
R.
yeah, I seen on the YouTube the podcast 149.
Yes,
Krios. Yeah, okay. I see
yep.
it.
So talk to that guy. Um, if you, the way he's talking, man, he's been doing photography for a while. He knows what he's doing, and he's more into the business side of helping other photographers monetize their stuff. Because he's had those issues as well, with copyright. Not, I don't know what you call it, but
But
people stealing
just
your,
people, yeah, taking your photos
yeah,
and like
taking your
uploading it to the
photos,
website.
right?
Yeah.
So he's got a program on his site where when you upload it, it'll put I don't know. I'm not sure all that stuff, but it'd be really good for you to contact him because you got a lot of fucking shit ton, bro.
Yeah, I look at it. Like I said, I'm pretty humble, and I think I'm okay at taking pictures. To be honest, like when I see other people's, I'm like, man, because I don't have any formal training. It's more just I failed a photography class at community college, and that's kind of how it
Yeah.
started. So, but I'm getting a little better, I think. But I don't know if it's worth money yet. But I'm just kind of
No, you need to talk to him, bro. Don't
okay.
don't even listen. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Just reach out to him because what he does, he actually trains people. He'll do like a Zoom class with you,
Mhm.
and teach you how to, hey, do this, do this, whatever. With that's how he's got a handful of people that go to these events with his cameras and take
Uh,
pictures for Krios, and then come back and he'll teach them the settings for this, for that, for whatever, like all that kind of shit. Like it's yeah. So I mean, he's definitely the most knowledgeable photographer I've talked with so far.
I'll definitely look into it. Yeah, because I'm looking at his website right now on his partners. Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, and he said
Mm.
Krios means sheep in Greek, and he I can't remember what he said, but anyway, the way he came up with the name, um, it was he didn't want to call it sheep because he loves sheep.
Okay.
Like he actually loves, like he likes, that animal or whatever, and so he didn't want to call it sheep photography because it sounds
Yeah,
dumb.
it doesn't
So
have a ring to it.
no,
Yeah.
so he looked up different languages for the word sheep, and that one sounded the best. So he was like, "All right, cool." Yeah, it's cool, man. But yeah, definitely reach out to him. I would love to see you guys, these photographers I've talked with, get involved, like do something like that, collaborate, and be able to, monetize your work. Like this is that. So you have an investment with your camera, you have an investment with your time. You're going out to these fields, taking pictures. Like I'm looking at one right now, dude. It is August 10th on
Okay.
your Facebook page that I scrolled down
Uh,
to.
August. Are you looking at the
And
albums? The albums or
no, I don't know. I clicked on your
oh,
link.
you just
I'm right
scroll
on
down?
your. I didn't look at the albums. I'm just
Oh,
scrolling.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, on the side. So I didn't click on like actual photos or nothing.
It's good at
I'm looking
albums,
at
yeah, but yeah, yeah.
the post. But they're, the post on the front here. Like these are really good pictures.
Oh,
A lot
thanks.
of these are really good pictures. Yeah, good color. Oh, you got one here from July 27th with one of the main pictures. The guy with holding an orange smoke grenade. It looks like a
Oh, that,
ref.
oh yeah, that's like one of the very first pictures I took. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, like yeah, because that post is about a field that was closed for like a year, and then they're reopening. But that's a really old photo. But yeah,
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, um, well, it looks like, you're doing well with it. So, explain uh, how you got into photography and why the fuck did you fail a class in community college? Okay. Drinking?
No, no. Well, photography, like I guess you could say when I saw those cool photos that those photographers took of me when I was in Japan, like 10 years ago, it just kind of came back when I it came back to mind when I moved back to Utah, saying like, man, I go to games every weekend, but like no one ever talks about them or has anything to show for it other than shitty cell phone selfies by their car or some dude trying to take a picture of behind his buddy, but it's with the phone you can only do so much.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's how I kind of came up with the name as well as, after action is, you go play the game on Saturday and then I'm pretty quick. Usually I have it uploaded, the next day. So you can have all these sick photos to, show your grandma or your buddies from high school, of
Right.
like how cool airsoft is. And that's the main reason why I did it. And, like I said, I had the camera that I bought, which I don't know why I even bought it to begin with. It wasn't specifically for this intention, but
Yeah.
it was just collecting dust, and I was like, well, to be honest, I'm getting up not up in age, but I only play that my tank runs empty pretty quick, so
Sure.
now I play for like a
Well,
couple
you're
hours.
not 19 years old anymore.
Exactly, yeah, I can't be not like these little speed softers sprinting around everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, so now I split my day in half. I'll play for the first half usually, then I change out to my orange photography gear, take
Yeah.
photos for the rest of the day. And then, Sunday morning, I have, a good 2, 3 hours set aside to where I can, edit photos and, share them on Facebook for people to show. And like I said, I don't have any formal training other than I had to use up my GI Bill benefits because I think they expire
Mm.
after 10 years of your discharge date or something.
Right.
And I was like, well, the photography would be nice. I can at least learn something. And it was all over Zoom and Skype and all that just through COVID. And I
Oh,
just,
okay.
yeah, then I realized that, being out of high school for that long and like, I thought I was smart, like trying to, what do you call it? The biggest thing that I didn't really comprehend was having to cite all of your resources, which I guess in college, that's like all it is. Like anytime you reference something, you have to like cite it specifically and credit the person that said it.
Oh,
And I was like,
God.
yeah, I was like, that's a lot of work, and I feel too stupid to like do this. So I stayed long enough to learn the basics of how to do post process editing, using certain apps and how to kind of get the settings right. But the rest I
Yeah.
kind of just figured out, every week when I went to take photos. And then I like to think I'm getting, at least if you look at the very first photo from like 10 years ago, no, 4 or 5 years ago, sorry. 10 years ago is when I first airsofted.
Right.
From so like my 4 year old photos to like last week's photos, like I like to think there's some improvement. Yeah,
I don't know. I clicked on your album things.
yeah, the
Um,
albums would be easier to just get a better idea of.
God damn. I keep
Yeah.
scrolling down and it keeps filling up. What the fuck? How many
But you
fucking
think,
albums you got, bro?
but you,
Jesus.
yeah, you think about it. I try to go every at least one game every Saturday, so get an
God
idea.
damn. So you've got, all right, so this is, I'm
And
all the
then
way down to the bottom. I finally found the end of the albums.
yeah, and like I
So
said,
yeah,
I've
you're
been
right. That
yeah,
one with the orange is in 2017. That's your first one. Okay.
yeah, and also the first time I photographed, predated this page because I've been doing it even before I had my own page. I just did it for fun, and
Right.
actually, yeah. So it's even goes back further than that, where I uploaded albums on like other people's pages because they were hosting the game or whatever. Yeah,
Jesus. Dude. I mean, these albums, well, look. All right, so you've got uh November of 2017 is like end of November is your first album. 76 pictures. Operation Christmas Cheer 2017. So that's obviously around Christmas. So December of 2017, 21, New Year's, 40 items. After that, there's these albums. Holy shit. Some of these albums have like 70 pictures.
And this is actually pretty low because there used to be another group that would have like their girlfriends and wives take photos, but the issue I had with them was they would upload literally every photo they took for the day, which would be like 300.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was like they're good photos, but you have to like with the Facebook interface trying to scroll through all that is no fun. So that's why all these are pretty small albums from.
Did you go through and fix
Yeah,
the albums? Like you remove
well,
some
I would
and
just I would just pick out I'll just get rid of all the quote unquote bad photos,
extras? Right.
out of focus. I want to just dump everything off my camera.
Right.
And the majority of these, at least the first half, I didn't have any idea that you could even post process. I didn't know what that was. I thought you just take the picture and then that's how the photo is. Like, until I failed that class, I didn't realize that you can make a shitty photo look pretty good if put it in
Edit
a
it.
little program and move some sliders around. Yeah, like it made such a big difference. I was like, oh, mind blown. Like now I spent like 3 hours on Sunday
Yeah.
trying to go through all the photos.
No
And
shit,
then,
right?
yeah, it's all just in my free time, as a more like a giving back to the community for giving me something to do on the weekend.
Yeah.
Because the majority of these photos, they're just, they're basically 90% of them are just little pickup games, local community, you know,
Sure.
some, some, some anchors of the community, they just kind of post up on Facebook, here's an event. We're going to go hang out, play some games. Maybe 40 people show up. Like it's not a big event, where you have to pay $50 and, you know, drive 5 hours to have fun.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that, you know, some 12-year-old with his mom can have a really cool photo of him, playing airsoft. Just like, you know, if you went to like a bigger game and pay $500, to have a professional photographer get a cool
For
photo, and
sure.
then you might have to pay for that and have a watermark on it.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it's cool to show that airsoft exists in a spectrum, and you can look cool whether you pay $100 for a little Lancer Tactical M4 or $1,000 for like this decked out HPA or name brand gun.
No shit, dude.
Yeah.
This is cool, man. I had no. So I love learning surprises or getting surprised, while I'm talking with somebody. I did not. I had no clue you were, taking pictures on it because I didn't see anything else. I tried to do some research
Yeah.
and I only saw your Instagram thing. So
Yeah, that's
uh,
completely bare bones. I think I
yeah,
upload
it's
there like
like
once a
hardly
week.
anything. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe he's. And then so listen, I'm looking at your Instagram and I'm going, okay, not a whole lot here, but
You probably can't tell which
yeah,
one might be me.
K Factor told me, hey, check this dude out, um, and talk with him, whatever. And I was like, all right, and then, but I couldn't remember why he said. So
Oh,
I reached out to you, but anyway, I'm like, I don't. Okay, maybe. And then you texted me and was like, hey, can we just do the audio? Like, I don't want to, do I have to use a camera? I'm like, well, I guess not. No, I've never done that.
it's kind of
I
odd, dude.
have, yeah, I have had a couple people ask me in the past when I first started doing these. And I was like, well, no, let's do the video because I put these on YouTube. But now, so that was before I started putting them on all the different podcast platforms. So, the audio versions.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, it's not going to work out that well with a blank video. Like I have to put it on YouTube. So, anyway, so when you reached out to me and it was like, hey, can I just do that? I'm like, oh, he doesn't have a whole lot of online stuff. So he doesn't want to be, kind of like, I don't want to be seen and I
Oh,
don't want to be
yeah.
on video. So I'm like, oh, okay, I gotcha. Well, now I'm looking at all these fucking, dude, you're a good photographer.
No, appreciate it.
Yeah, you're out there getting all this shit, bro. Like this is crazy.
And so
So,
far, I've only had one lens shot out. My baby.
oh shit,
Luckily,
nice.
Yeah, so I don't know how other
God,
photographers
I
fare, but
love
I've only
this.
had my camera shot once, like with a lens. Well, luckily I
Did
had a
it?
filter on it, so it didn't break the lens. But
Oh,
it's
good,
still
good.
it still cracked the outside, which scared the shit out of me. But
I just
yeah,
talked when I well, if you ever listen to that one with Krios, I yeah, that's we talked about that because I asked him.
it's scary.
Uh, yes. Well, the other guy too, Justin Timber or oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. Justin Timberlake. He's actually cousins with Justin Timberlake,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, Trenton Timberlake is his Instagram, which is just his name. He's a photographer, and he does mostly he plays airsoft, but he doesn't do airsoft photography. He does, not mostly. He'll do some, but he mostly does like wildlife stuff.
Okay, I'm looking at his Instagram right now. Yeah,
Right. Yep. So I actually
yeah. He
bought
didn't
a
post. There's like zero airsoft on there. It's all
yeah, it's
wildlife.
not
Yeah.
now
Uh,
his personal one. There's a bunch of
Oh,
airsoft stuff.
Ghost Frog Airsoft. Yeah, he has a
Right.
link. Let's take a look.
Yep.
Okay, I
So
see it.
that's a bunch of airsoft stuff. But his other one, he does a lot of animal pictures and shit like that. So when I was talking with him, he was the first photographer that I talked with about, like lenses and the camera and shit. And he goes, "Yeah, I have two lenses, like zoom or whatever lenses, whatever you call them." And
Yeah,
he's like, "One, I'm okay with taking to the airsoft field." So he does take airsoft pictures, but
yeah. But
his passion
he's probably not
is
doing it during the gameplay where there's a good
right.
chance you're gonna get shot. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll take one that he's like, I'll take one to the airsoft field that uh, I won't cry if it gets shot. But this other one I have for taking these wildlife photos is if that broke, at an airsoft game, I would probably cry. So because I asked him, I was like, how much are these fucking things? He's like, they're
Oh,
expensive.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
and
now,
if
do
they
you
break
have?
if they break, like it's pretty much the price of a brand new one at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I asked
Those,
Krios
yeah,
was
any decent lens, you can't really fix it once it's
yeah,
broken.
Josh, I said, would if you get because he had one of his cheaper, but still expensive to me, but cheaper lenses that he uses for the airsoft field. He had it got shot, but it didn't crack the lens. It just like scuffed it,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, well, is there like a service that you can take your lens, your telephoto lens or whatever. Can you take it somewhere that they can buff it out or clean the lens or fix it or anything like that? He's like, no. He's like, that you pretty much just have to, buy a new one. So he has insurance on all his shit. He's like,
Oh,
I tell
smart.
all my photographers, get insurance on all your shit. It's like $300 for the whole year. It's 100% worth it. He goes, it covers everything in my photography. So if I use my laptop for editing photos, it covers that. Any camera I use, any lens I use, all this shit. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess they have like a specific photography insurance or something.
It makes sense. It's a big industry, yeah. Because
For sure.
like for me, my insurance is like a $40 tempered glass filter that like screws onto the front, to where I
Gotcha.
know that if I get a direct hit on that, if it does break, it'll just break that like the $40 piece.
Okay.
Otherwise, it comes down to like my experience of like being able to hit the dirt really quick and get really low to the ground with like BBs. Yeah, it's kind of fun to be honest. Like where
Like dodging bullets for real?
I'm serious. Like that, like that's where some of the coolest photos are. If you're in between a firefight, like
Really?
get that angle of them,
Yeah.
zoom in BBs, and if you're lucky, if it's if you got a good enough camera, you can catch the BBs mid-flight, which is really tricky, but it always looks really cool.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like I
Okay.
said, it's always a nice surprise. Like I said, like if they're in the middle of a fight, they might not notice the guy in bright orange, but taking photos of him. But the next day they'd be like, "Oh, I remember that time I freaking ate shit when I was sprinting, and you got me falling halfway." It's always a nice surprise.
Sure.
You know, yeah.
Man,
Compared,
that's
like I
cool.
said, my big thing is getting photos during gameplay, like where it's
Right.
not posed. You can, it's always nice to get a photo of your buddies together. I'll do that fine, but like I
Yeah.
think it's always interesting just seeing someone's face, especially it's always I don't have a name for it yet, but it's always like eyes open, mouth open just because they're breathing hard, I guess.
The
It's
O
like
face.
airsoft face. Yeah, it's always
A
it's
face.
really
Okay, we
it's
can't
really
call it the O face. That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right,
It's
that's
really
for something
unflattering,
else.
but I think it's the purest expression of like they're just really into the game, breathing hard,
Right.
eyes open, mouth open. Here in the winter, you always have boogers and shit over your mesh mask,
Oh
just
God.
because it's always funny to see that. Yeah, yes, it's the purest form of airsoft
No
photography.
shit. Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you got some really cool. Yeah, I actually like the action shots too, and I like doing that. I like seeing those for airsoft, but I also like doing that for my family. Like I'm the family photographer,
Oh, yeah,
um,
same here.
you know, unannounced. I guess like I've just been doing it for years because with 5 kids, I wanted to capture all this shit growing up. So and I've always been taking pictures, and I like getting pictures. I do like the posed ones for family events,
Of course, yeah.
to capture like this moment. Here here's everybody, um, because I do like slideshows like at Christmas time and stuff. But the action shot, or not action, but the what do you call those shots? They're not posing, but
Uh, 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 I guess you would say candid.
yeah, candid, yeah,
Candid, yeah. For like,
yep,
like you'll see if you have like a night, you're like at a picnic, you get a photo of
exactly.
like your auntie laughing or something.
Right.
Yeah,
The
it's
two
fun.
people are just talking. They're sitting there, at the table or on the deck or on the porch or something, and they're talking. Get a picture of them, that kind of thing. So, I do like those as well. And if they notice me, they'll look at me, and I'm like, no, 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 go back to what you were doing. It's not the
Like,
same. It's still
yeah,
not the same.
yeah.
Uh,
It's just like when you had to re-record the podcast. Like, it's never gonna, you're not gonna get
yep,
that moment back.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you ruined it. Why do you have to look at me?
I know.
I'm gonna come
Just
back in five
pretend.
minutes.
Hey, pretend I'm not here. Remember I said that like 5 minutes ago? Pretend I'm not here. Like, yeah. No, this is cool, man. I'm looking at a bunch of your albums. Yeah, you got a lot of action shots. So some of these are in the fucking woods, bro, like in the brush.
Yeah, the
So are
majority
you
of
crawling through these? Are you like getting set up in a
no,
spot?
like I said, you see my profile pic. I wear a bright orange shirt, like pretty much like with like a hunter, like if you're hunting, like bright
Right.
blaze orange shirt. So like, I
Yeah.
pop up really easy, and I just kind of walk around, and if I hear action going on, I'll just kind of sneak up and try to. Also, I do kind of like wildlife photography. Like I don't want to interrupt and be too intrusive, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like if it's like for example, if there's like a sniper in a ghillie suit, I'm not gonna walk up on top of him and take a picture and give away his position, for example.
Give
But
away
if
his
there's
position. No.
yeah, if there's two dudes shooting at each other, a pretty good chance it's safe to take a picture. They're not gonna get too upset because obviously
They already
both
know where they are.
exactly,
Right.
yeah. So
Uh-huh.
to try to keep aware of things like that when I'm taking photos.
So this the one I'm looking at is from I actually clicked on the photo in the album. So I'm not sure what album it is. July 17th. It is the K's Air Combat. K's Air Combat is the album. And one of the pictures in the middle is I guess they're probably all July 17th. Yeah. Okay.
I think I see it. I'm in the album. Yeah.
So, in the middle of the album, there's a picture of a guy like sliding down this
Oh,
embankment or hill
yeah. It's
in
like
the
an
brush. In
embankment.
the
Yeah.
brush. So you're in the fucking brush, bro, taking this picture, this action photo. It's really good.
That to ruin the magic, I guess, of that specific photo, I think
Yeah,
he was perched up. Yeah, it's a pretty steep, embankment.
yeah.
He was sitting up there probably for like most of that round, trying to snipe people, and he couldn't get shots off because you see the foliage is super thick, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna slide down and can you get a cool photo of me? So it looks like he's
Yeah.
doing like a cool John Wick slide, but in reality, he was like half crab walking really fast. It looked really
Oh, really?
stupid. It looked really stupid in person.
Trying to force himself down.
Yeah, because all the foliage it's not straight dirt. He was just catching on all the branches and vines and
Sure.
grass. So like in reality, he was just like scooting scooting on his butt really quick, and like
Right.
oh,
Still.
but then a cool story is he's like sliding down like an action movie shooting down the hill.
It is. I mean,
But,
it's still, as far as the picture goes,
oh
it's
yeah,
fucking cool as shit.
yeah, like it's good to know in context and out of context just how. Actually, I'm gonna link you a. I experimented with some videos where to go along with that photo,
Yeah.
where I wanted to show people the before and after of um of how the photo looks on video. I mean, how the moment looked, like in person, and then I
Yeah.
intercut it with the actual photo, just to like give context to the pictures.
Yeah.
Let me like
Well, go
give
ahead
me
and
a
find that real quick.
yeah, yeah.
I gotta grab something real quick. I'll be right back. You go ahead
Okay.
and find that and link it to me, and give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, there's a one I put on YouTube. Let me see. Right. I had just like a backpack, like a third person old GoPro video.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I have another one where I put the camera directly. I put like a small camera directly on my other camera, so it's
Yeah.
like shooting over the barrel. So I'll find that one as
S-
well, which was a different experiment.
Oh, I can see your camera. Where's your GoPro at on that? On
On
your
which one?
shoulder?
Yeah, it's maybe fine. Actually, if you look at my Facebook, the banner image, you can see the photo of my setup from this video.
Dude, this video, man, is cool though.
Yeah, it was just experiment, but then I kind of stopped doing it because just doing video and photos took up so much time, and
Oh,
uh,
I'm sure.
it, yeah, but that's just the idea I had. Yeah,
Okay, let's see here.
yeah. Just to like show the context of like how quick a photo can happen. Of like, yeah.
Right. So what was the album on the Facebook one?
Oh, for this game.
Yeah, whichever one you
Oh,
told me. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Yeah. The photos are also intercut into the video, so you can see it as well. But let me see. Yeah, so if you look on the page on my Facebook page, I linked at the very top, you'll see the photo of the big ass GoPro sticking out of my back from that game.
Oh, yeah, right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh
I haven't done.
shit, on a
Yeah,
huge arm. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't done it since because like it's so unwieldy.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
It probably bounces around while you're moving around.
yeah, that as well, but also just trying to crawl around is yeah, it wasn't any fun.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, bro. Okay. So now you're so this last album, let's see. So you've got 12th Street, which was November 27th, and then you have Operation Improving Day. Now, what field is this at?
We have unofficial names, but basically 9% of the places we play at in Utah are just public BLM land. That like usually you see real still shooters there too, but yeah, it's all public land basically,
What do you
which is the
mean?
reason. Sorry,
You said public.
it's just public Bureau of Land Management land.
Oh, okay.
Where it's just public land that anyone can use as long as you don't burn it down or leave trash.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So but the tricky thing is, for example, at the most recent game, there's a really cool. We call it the outpost because there's like these really cool stone structures that are like
Mm-hmm.
right next to the parking area. But because it's public land, we have to share it with everybody else. And there was like probably three groups of real still shooters within like 100 yards of us.
What?
So we couldn't play in that cool area, which is the main reason we drove out there. Like these cool stone structures. So we couldn't
Yeah.
play because it was just a little bit too close to where they were shooting.
Duh.
So like that's
Holy
the good and
shit.
bad thing about playing in public land. It was cool for the ambiance because there was just gunshots going off
That's cool.
nonstop. But then the one cool area of the land we wanted to play at, we couldn't do because they were just a little bit too close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's not really there's like one indoor field, and that's pretty much it right now. Like there's no like
So who
fields like in
coordinates these
California.
games?
Like it's all Facebook, like the local community. We have there's like three or four guys that run their own little teams, and Facebook pages that
Mm-hmm.
make events to help coordinate, but it's all big community effort. Which compared to Japan, for example, there was like 50 official fields, and no matter where you went, there'd be like 100 people there. They'd
Jesus.
they'd have the table areas set up. They'd have food. Where it's like a official place. Even like in California, they have a lot of official fields there too.
Right.
Like Utah, like I said, all we have at the moment is a really tiny indoor place that could probably accommodate like 16 to 20 people, and
Wow.
it just happens to be attached to like the local airsoft shop. Like otherwise, if you want to play a game, it's just local community coordinating on Facebook. Luckily, they've been doing it so long. There's enough official, unofficial fields that we regularly play at. That's not a lot of the photos. It's just in the sagebrush.
No shit, dude.
Yeah,
That's wild. Yeah, I remember K Factor talking about that. He was like, we don't we don't really have a whole lot of fields around here. Like, it's strange because most of us, I think most people, well, definitely most people I've talked with, uh, they they play in an official airsoft field or an official airsoft event, like a big mill sim, right?
yeah, where it's like a cool, really unique AO stuff is
Uh-huh.
built, structures are built up or cover and stuff. Yeah,
Right.
and you got to pay. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Here, it's basically free. Most games.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Which I didn't realize that was pretty unique to airsoft. Just people playing for free at a not official, established field.
I
Like
mean,
I thought that was just normal here in North America, but apparently it's
oh,
weird.
oh, that's wild. Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit, right? Well, you have, when I played paintball, it was, we played at my buddy's grandparents' property. So, same thing. Like, we didn't pay. We only paid for our gear.
Yeah.
So, uh, when we had to go to we didn't have to, but when we went to an actual field, we paid to go in. It was like $20. This is back in '96 or something.
Okay.
And, so it was no big deal. But, and they had all the corrugated pipes laying on the laying down on the ground, and all these different kind of construction barriers set up for the obstacles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was cool. They didn't have any. They had all real structures. They didn't have any pre-built or built walls or anything. They didn't put up plywood and pallets and all that shit like you
Oh
see in
yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of these places. They had like concrete, uh, huge concrete barriers. Like the ones you see in when they set up on the freeways, the temporary ones,
Oh,
those
okay.
sections,
Yeah.
where they're blocking something off. Um, Shit like that. They'd have an old fucking
Old cars.
deuce and a half, or yeah, old
Yeah.
cars and military shit set up, corrugated pipes. But we didn't play on that kind of field very much. We all played for free. Like it was, most people I talked with now, they go to an official airsoft field or, like I said, an event. The one event was Series Viking was a few months ago. I can't remember what month that was, but it was in Georgia. Huge fucking area, AO, and it was $250 for just a regular player ticket. So if you wanted anything extra, like I think they had a helicopter there. I'm not sure, but it was anything extra outside of that was more. So
And plus, you got to fly or drive too. On top of
uh,
because I'm sure most of the players aren't local.
no,
So that's
no,
an
they're
investment.
coming from like 3-4 states away.
Because our K Factor does it pretty regularly. He will go out of state
Uh-huh.
games, and I'm just thinking like, man, I can't imagine. Well, first
This
of all,
guy
getting the
goes all
time.
over, bro.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you afford that? I was like, jeez.
I don't know. He's a dog trainer.
like canine, like right, like law enforcement, or,
No, he
or
just
just dog, just
does.
dogs. Oh,
So the K factor thing was, so K factor is a word that it's a reference to mostly like engineering uh, type of things. So like some of the guys I worked with in the past in factories, fabricators, like
okay,
a metal fabricator will use the K factor. It's like a algebra equation shit or whatever. Um, to create to find. I don't know how to explain it. I don't understand it enough to on how to explain it, but it's basically to find an arc of something. So anyway, but it's also that term is used in business for like uh, the arc of the growth, I think,
okay.
or momentum of your business, kind of growth or something like that. So it's used. I don't know how to use it in context. So it is used in both of those. Now the fabricating thing I'd heard from guys years ago say it, but the business thing I didn't know until recently when I looked it up. And so anyway, his K factor thing was a nickname given to him on his first time playing airsoft. And
Oh,
I guess he had a kill streak, and one of his buddies said, "Man, you got the K factor," and that was his nickname. So his 39 is his jersey number for playing ice hockey. So
oh,
he plays ice hockey every year, and that's his number. So anyway, yeah. But so he was talking about this too, about all these different fields, and then he travels all the time. But I said, well, what kind of work you do? And he said, oh, I'm a dog trainer. And I said, so you train dogs? He's like, yeah. I said, what the fuck? That's the first person in my life I ever met, not in person, but at least talked with or had a
uh-huh.
conversation with, that trained dogs. It's wild. Very different field for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's good money in that because my sister, she spent a lot of time with her first dog. She didn't do any official training. She watched a bunch of YouTube videos, but just like teaching them the really early on, like all the the commands and all that. That way they don't be jumping on people when they're older and
Right.
biting or pulling on the leash. Yeah, so it makes sense why it'd be a good business.
Mm-hmm.
You see
Yes.
enough people that have no business owning an animal. Like they're just
Oh,
jumping on people, jumping out of the car window, chasing little kids,
bro.
I'd be biting other dogs.
If you want to see the most disgusting thing, well, it's not disgusting. It's just, I think it's disgusting to me. Um, I love animals. I'm an animal person, but I'm not a pet person, so I don't want pets. Probably because I
Okay,
have 5 kids, so I don't want to take care of anything else.
you're too busy. Yeah.
So, but I cannot stand when I see people that have dogs that don't take care of them. So
Oh,
they get a dog. I think they get a dog just for bragging rights. I think they get a dog just for fucking social status.
out of
Uh,
this.
and they
Yeah,
leave them in the house. So they'll have two big fucking dogs, like a German Shepherd and a Pit Bull or some shit, right?
yeah,
And
like
they
attack
never
dogs.
take them for a walk. And they have them in a 2 bedroom house or apartment and I'm going, bro, you never take them out to exercise. You keep them in the house all the time. You don't pay attention to them. You don't wash them. They look like shit. Okay,
Yeah,
like you
it's like
obviously don't
why do you have them? It's
like, and then they say, "Oh, I love dog." Like they'll be talking to someone else, and you hear them, when they're talking, like, "Oh yeah, I love dogs too." I'm like, "No, you don't. You don't love the ones you got because you
yeah,
don't take care of them,
yeah. Like you feed them and then pet them twice a day, and that's it.
bro."
It's
It's
like
it's that's messed up. Okay, if
they,
you're gonna have a dog, treat it like a child. Like I'm not saying they're as important as a human. I'm just saying treat them.
it's a living being. You
It
gotta,
is.
yeah,
With a soul, like a personality, and that kind of thing. Like it needs attention, it needs caring. It can't wash itself as good as you can wash it.
yeah,
They can clean themselves in the wild. I mean, they lick themselves, whatever. Like they take care of themselves, but don't. neglect your shit. Okay, like take care of your shit. If you're gonna have it, take care of it.
Yeah, I don't know which is worse. So dogs that are like, trapped in a house all day, or the ones that are like chained up outside all day.
Oh, we see that all the
Oh,
time here in South
yeah.
Carolina.
Oh, really? It's pretty
Yeah,
common. Oh,
yeah, yeah. I guess they made some rules a few years ago about that, but uh, we had neighbors. God, I don't know, 12, 13 years ago that did that, um, and they would take care of their dogs, and
uh-huh.
they were chained to these trees, but they were like they were really spread apart. Their chains were like fucking
Like 50 feet long or something crazy.
yes,
Yeah.
and they had that like tether kind of thing where they could go back and forth, and
Oh, yeah.
so they
It's like
weren't
a leash on like a line, like a what do you
right,
call it? Yeah.
right, so it wouldn't get tangled, around their neck and shit. And they would go out there and pet them and feed them and shit like that. But they never, ever brought them in the house. They never, took them off that.
Leash.
Yep. Yep.
Like they could have just run like, like in a field or
Right.
a park.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And I always feel so bad for that because I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
dogs are athletic animals.
Yeah, at the very least, because there's a lot of people here with that do have a dog that's always outside. It's always,
Yeah.
a enclosed front and backyard, so that free reign of the property, at least.
Right.
Yeah, so at least they can like run around and do circles, and they're not gonna,
Uh-huh.
escape and like attack people. So at least that's a decent compromise, I would say. They're not just
Oh,
stuck to that one little area.
yeah, man, for real.
Oof.
Well, here in the South, there's a big thing about pit bulls. Like everyone wants pit bulls. Everyone wants a pit bull. It's like a status thing. And they say, "Oh, pit bulls." You'll see all these posts online about how nice Pit bulls are, and they're not aggressive. It's only the owner and how they're raised. It's not the dog. And you look at just if you ever are curious about dog attacks in the United States, just search it. Just search it. Look at the numbers and look at how many pit bull attacks there are compared to Labradors or Chihuahuas
I
or
don't know, well, to be honest, Chihuahuas, they don't do violent attacks, but every single Chihuahua I've met is a fucking little gremlins.
yeah, but they're they're
Yeah, but
they're nuts,
it's
bro.
harmless, yeah.
Listen, bro. Chihuahuas got short man syndrome. Okay.
Yeah, it's super aggressive.
Yeah, they're aggressive as
But
fuck. But what are they gonna do?
yeah, they're so tiny
Okay.
they're not going to hurt you too
They
bad.
can't hurt you. All right.
But yeah,
Uh,
I know what you mean.
and by the way,
Yeah,
Chihuahuas don't really bite little kids like babies and shit in the
yeah,
face.
yeah. They try to bite big dogs for some reason.
Yeah, no shit, right? Isn't that wild? Pit bulls will bite little kids in the face. Every little kid that we've known people that there's 4 people that we know, their child has been bit in the face here in South Carolina. 4 different families that we know. Every single one has been a pit bull.
Oof.
It is. If you look it up, man, it's crazy. So I'm like, people that you can love dogs, that's fine. I mean, dogs are great. You can say pit bulls are great. Yeah, sure. But there is something in their DNA, okay, that
They're
says
just aggressive.
aggressive. Yeah, for sure.
Like if you just
So
approach it the wrong way, it's just gonna react. Yeah, it can't be the dog's fault. It's just how he is or how it
yeah, I
is.
mean, right.
Yeah, if you're like, if you try to pet it by, grabbing its neck, it might take that as a threat. And it can't help
Yeah,
it. It just feels
right.
threatened. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't even know. That's not their
yeah,
fault.
yeah.
Well, we I definitely am more curious about your pictures now that I'm going through these. This is I did not know you were
Yeah, I thought that
this
was
in
that's like the main thing I do. So I figured that's what K Factor would have led off with. That I take pictures.
maybe, but man, honestly,
Yeah.
I'm older. My memory's not great, so and I talk to a lot of people during the week. So I release 3 podcasts per week
Oh wow.
for the last probably 4 months, maybe more. So that's a lot. That's a lot of video editing. I don't have to edit these too much, but I do put a intro and outro on them. I clean up the audio. Each video, each recording takes probably with the thumbnails and everything, probably 30 minutes to an hour to edit and post, and upload to my different platforms or whatever. So,
Yeah.
and doing three a week is, I'm used to it. I've gotten used to it. I was a little overwhelmed at first, but it doesn't leave a whole lot of time for as much research on the next person as I would like to do. But but anyway, and we've had the holidays, and now like we're doing Christmas stuff. I've done help my wife do Christmas decorations for the last 2 weeks. I mean, we both love to decorate for Christmas and stuff. So it's family stuff and that. And so when he might have told me that when he talked to me or mentioned you, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
So this
yeah, I
is
blame you. Yeah,
this is a
a
nice
lot of
nice
stuff going
surprise
on.
though. Yeah, nice surprise. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Hell yeah! And I didn't even know you were a Marine.
Yeah, I don't really like to, what's it called, advertise it because I'm relatively young, and I'm just right now I'm like a nerdy Asian dude. Like first thing is people don't realize how old I am. I'm 33, but I probably could pass like I'm in college still because Asian people just look young.
For sure.
Yeah, on top of that, I'm not out of shape, but I'm not like fat. I'm not like buff or nothing either. And
Right.
I wasn't. I didn't. I don't think I did anything cool in the Marines, so it's not really much to talk about anyway. So I'm really trying to make a big deal out of it.
Oh no, huh?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
feels weird. It feels weird at work though. There's a couple guys, older dudes at work that were in there. Yeah, I think around the same time you were, 80s to 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they. I feel like I can't relate to him as much because one of them, he was like a what's it called now? Scout, scout sniper apparently. Apparently he did some cool shit back then. Apparently, and me trying to talk about oh yeah, I worked on an airport basically. It doesn't compare. So I try not to
Oh,
talk
right.
about it too much. The coolest thing
Right.
I talk about is being able to go to Japan and you know, they actually yeah, because how I told you for the Marine Security Program you get to go to three countries, 1 year each.
Right.
Yeah, so the cool thing was I got to go to Japan for the first year, first world country. It's great because you don't even need to know Japanese to be able to navigate it. And then my second year, I got to go to Baku, Azerbaijan. If you know where that is, it's
What is it now?
uh Azerbaijan.
No, I've never even heard of it.
It's
Is that a country?
basically it's basically north of Iran and south of Georgia or Russia. It's like sandwiched in between the Middle East and Russia.
No shit.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool because like everyone there looks like I guess they kind of look it's a cool mix because everyone's like light skinned,
Yeah.
but they speak Russian there. But then the women look like Middle Eastern. It's a pretty cool place. I know
Oh,
they
that's
have like
wild.
I know like F1 the F1 racing they have a track there, so it's like F1's popular there.
Right.
But then my third year, complete 180 from that country. I got to go to Haiti. Like
Oh my
a
God.
few years after the earthquake, where that place was completely run down, no infrastructure. The embassy was
Oh my
nice,
God.
but once so being able to, I guess, not go downhill, but just see like three different completely cultures,
Right.
different cultures. It was nice getting that experience.
I'm
In like
sure.
the short 5 years I was in the bridge.
Right.
But yeah,
No, dude, that's something to be proud of. I mean, that is well, I know. See, that's something different today than it was back when I got out. Um, there was no, internet, social media, and stuff. So, if you were in the military, you would like there wasn't a whole lot of people talking about like this badass combat gear and shit like that. Like it was just yeah, I was in the army, I was in Vietnam, I was this and whatever. Yeah, I saw combat, but whatever. I mean, one of my buddies when I was a teenager, he was a lot older. We met him at we saw him at the park all the time. He wasn't a lot older, but when you're 15, a 20-year-old is a lot older. Uh, so it's like he was in Vietnam, and he had just come back, whatever. He was wounded, and I'm like, I don't. we didn't really. There wasn't a whole lot of talk about that kind of stuff when I was a kid, and then when I was when I got out, nobody really compared themselves to, like, we weren't afraid to say, hey, I was in the Marine. I met somebody that was an admin. They didn't care.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I feel like everyone posts all this shit about, like, with their gear on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah, it's like, oh,
because
everyone's a fucking spec
everybody has
ops,
smartphones and shit, so they can like take pictures of the barracks and post them on TikTok.
right?
Because when I was in, I think I had a that really like iPhones weren't really a thing back in '07. I think I had a Razor, the flip phone.
Oh shit!
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
got my wife one. Yep,
but like
I remember
social
that.
media and stuff, posting wasn't really a thing. Because I had a lot of photos of like a shitty point and click camera. Yeah, but yeah. Now that you bring it up, yeah, that's a big difference. All the
Yeah, it's a
people
huge
in the
difference.
military now are just all over social media.
Social media,
Yeah.
training videos, showing off
Oh
their
yeah.
gear. This is where a lot of airsofters get their shit with, blacking out their face, blurring out their
I thought
face.
that was always pretty funny. And I think my old profile pic on YouTube, actually, on my Facebook, my personal profile pic, it's like a parody of that where I'm wearing sunglasses and like what do you call it? Uh, a neck gaiter, but my nose is poking out. So I pixelated my nose because I thought it'd be funny. Yeah, I know. I
What?
But the thing is, my thing about people that do that is they post pictures. They take a deliberate picture of them in their gear with their face exposed, right?
Right.
Like, well, if it's such a big, your OPSEC or whatever, you
Yep.
wouldn't be taking pictures to begin with. Or if you are, just be like the Russians and wear like a balaclava everywhere you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's always funny, but if it's like part of like a role playing group, that's all well and good because you're dressing up for a specific thing. Yeah, but
Right.
I always thought that was really weird. People
Yeah. No
that,
shit. Right.
yeah,
Yeah, they have those. All those guys like special operator, and they got the black line over their eyes, and the. I'm like, bro, fuck.
like you scroll down a few posts, you see actual face, and then you'll go all the way or don't go at all.
I know, right? Well,
Yeah.
I think the first guy I did a podcast with that revealed his face on the podcast. All his posts on his Instagram were his face was blurred out. So he came on the podcast, and when we started the video, he came up, or the video call. I expected him to have like a mask or something on, or some kind of
Yeah.
gear. Uh, Nothing. And I said, "Oh shit! I thought you were gonna have." He
It was
said,
like
"You know what? I'm I'm an airsofter. I was never in the military." He's actually he's not really a professional photographer. He does oh shit, digital or
like digital art or like
yeah, yeah,
graphic design or
graphic designer. Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Um, so, and he's like, "Man, I'm just a graphic designer. I'm not a special operator out there snapping necks. So I just figured I'd come on here and be myself." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So it was kind of like to me it was a big deal because he had never shown his face like on
And that's all
his.
you've seen of him, like of what he puts out, right?
Yeah,
Like his like online character.
yeah. So I thought it was really cool that he was able to do that. So I've had that on here where a couple of people had done the kind of like their first face reveal from their social media stuff on the podcast, and then I've had the other where they asked me, "Hey, can I wear a mask?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit. Wear whatever you want." So and they wore like their gear, like their full setup. I had a couple guys wear their full setup.
Like their airsoft out, like what they were.
Full gear, bro. Everything. Plate carrier, helmet, fucking face cover, goggles, the whole thing. And then they have their, gaming headset on with the mic. And that's how we talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've had both ways. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about airsoft. I guess you get like every single type of person gets
Yeah,
into
for
airsoft.
sure. Oh, dude, I'm
Because
doing do you know who Storm the Poet is?
uh,
Storm the Poet. Look up his Instagram.
okay,
That dude, I'm talking to him later this week, and he's in Cali, and he'll do all kind of crazy outfits on the field. Really, really cool, cool guy. I followed his Instagram for a while,
Oh, I
but
see. Yeah.
yeah,
He
one of the
likes he
guys
likes
I
that.
talked
He's
with,
has fun. He's
yeah,
he's not
for
just wearing
sure.
he's not just wearing multicam every week. Yeah.
Well, he wears this one time. I need to ask him about this when we do the podcast, but he's got a picture in there way down on his Instagram where he goes airsofting like in different outfits and cosplay shit or what at least what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
So just funny kind of outfits, whatever, banana uniform or banana costume or something. So, but yeah, you definitely get a wide range of people in airsoft. People that want to do the LARPing with full military shit, and then some that want to do the cosplay type of shit
And
and LARPing with
you
the
get the historical guys. There's a lot of guys here that like to dress up, like their
World
Nazi
War One.
regalia or World War
Yep.
II stuff. Like I have a Imperial Japanese World War II outfit I wore a couple times, but it's
Oh
really
shit.
uncomfortable.
Okay.
They get you get like his reenactor types. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're Asian? Are you guys where's your family from?
Oh, they're from Thailand.
Okay.
It's right next to Vietnam. But
Thailand's.
the language surprisingly is like completely different. It's weird because you do think being right next to each other there'd be some crossover in the language, but it sounds completely different. Like the
So
words
is it
don't like the words, for example. There's like not really any bleed over, like compared to like Spain Spanish and like you know Mexican Spanish. How you could
yeah,
probably still kind of communicate.
right.
Yeah, like in Thailand to like Vietnam, there's like almost zero.
Really?
It's really weird how that worked out.
So Vietnamese, and then what's your guys' language? Taiwanese?
Just Thai, like Thailand.
Thai. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Speak Thai. Okay. Now, were you raised speaking Thai?
No. The weird thing growing up is we grew up speaking English, but my parents, even now, they'll speak to me in Thai and I'll just respond in English. Like I can understand them completely,
No
which
shit.
I don't know how that works, but I think just growing up,
Oh, that's
they would
so wild, man.
yeah
Yeah, yeah.
they would just they would yell at us in Thai, and I know exactly what you meant.
A child's brain is so fucking malleable. Like it's so just a sponge with that kind of shit. Like it doesn't have any barriers. So it doesn't have these preconceived kind of things to, they don't overthink. They just absorb.
They just take it as it is.
Yeah, dude. And so they learn so fucking fast. And then adults are like dumb because we're we're trying to study the meaning of, and they're like, don't study the meaning, you're overthinking it. Just
I
just
think a lot of
listen.
a lot of the preconceived notions too, because
Uh-huh.
I know boot camp a thing they brought up was a lot of the not older guys, but people that went to high school pretty much that were like hunters or recreational shooters. Like
Mm-hmm.
they didn't do as well on the shooting range as like
Mm-mm.
high school kids because they just
Right.
had their stuff they thought they
They
knew,
had
or
to
they were trying to
relearn.
they were trying to get rid of bad habits. Like me, I shot I was an expert shooter the whole time I was in the Marine Corps, just because that was my
Mm-hmm.
first time shooting, and I just what I learned in boot camp, you know, I guess the quote unquote best way, fundamentally wise,
Yep.
just carried with me, and I'm still a
Same.
pretty decent shot. Yeah,
I was the same way. My parents were
yeah.
against guns. So,
I
well,
mean,
my mom
yeah,
more than my
super
dad.
religious. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
So I shot a BB gun. I had a BB gun when I was like 12. And then I shot one gun, a 308,
Ooh.
one time.
Yeah.
And it was an old Mauser type of, World War One or two type of gun, or I guess World War Two type of gun or something. It
Yeah.
was my dad's buddies. I was a young teenager, and I shot a shotgun, and that was it. I never shot a pistol, and then I go in the Marines, and so I didn't have any bad habits for shooting. I just knew what I did with my BB gun, and I had iron sights on the BB gun, but I didn't really think about it. I'm 12. I don't really think about how I'm shooting my form and sight picture and sight
And
alignment and all that shit.
how to breathe.
No, hell no.
Yeah.
So when I got there, I was a clean slate. So I was the same way. I was expert as well. So boot camp, I think I shot like 238. What is it? I don't know if it's still the same, but we had 250 was the max
Okay.
points. Um, so we did. I'm sure it's changed because you guys do like we never learned CQB. We all
For,
did. We
for
did.
qualification or just in
Oh,
general?
just in general, yeah.
Uh, I don't think we ever.
Qual was standing, kneeling,
Let's see.
prone.
Then you get progressively closer. I think it's 5, 3, and
Yes.
100. Yeah.
It was, we did 100, no, no, wait,
I think it was
I don't
5,
remember,
300, and
200.
then 200, then 100. Or I
We
think it
did
stopped
2, 3,
2,
and 5.
5.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, my last qualification before I got out, when I was shooting on the range, apparently, depending on the unit you're with or whatever weapons you're issued, they let them qualify with their ACOGs, with their optics. I'm like, that's like cheating, but it makes
Huh.
sense, I guess, because that's their issued weapon.
Right.
But I just thought it was like weird because like yeah, this, you know, I don't
Well,
know.
I guess,
I
yeah,
just thought,
whatever you're going to be using in the field is
yeah,
probably
but
makes sense
I
for
used to
you.
know if they considered it separate, like qualifications for your, the records versus, if you're just like trading with it,
Right.
I just thought it was funny because some of them still couldn't shoot, which is funny. I guess because it had a shorter barrel because they had their carbines and I had my M16A4 with the long ass barrel. But I just thought it was funny how like some of them just they just never practiced or just had bad habits, still couldn't hit shit with their
Oh, I'm
ACOG.
sure it's bad habits. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
whether you have a scope or not, like
yeah,
the breathing, squeeze the trigger, not pull it. You know, setting, getting set. Uh, big things. Who? I'm gonna tell you who is good at this stuff too. Is another guy I talked with, uh, who has a channel, Gunfather Milsim. Is
Godfather.
his Yeah, Gunfather. So gun and then father and then Milsim is his YouTube channel and his Instagram. And I had him on the podcast a couple times. He was never in the military, but he's been on the SWAT team in I can't remember what state, but anyway, in the middle of the U.S. somewhere, and he is super really like great at training. I mean, that's his job. Now he's a SWAT officer. He actually
Like an
teaches.
instructor.
Yeah, he's an instructor. So he does. He teaches all the new guys coming in on the SWAT team. And he was on the sniper. He was a sniper on the SWAT team, and so he does a lot of videos with technique and training that are practical, obviously. And bro, if you want a sling, a really good sling for your airsoft stuff, rifles,
Uh-huh.
this dude has the best fucking slings. I bought.
He has his own like
He
line of
makes them. Yeah, he hand makes his slings. So he doesn't do it's not like he's pumping out 100 a week or nothing.
they're
But
just made to order. Yeah.
bro, now he'll make some ahead of time. So you're with different colors and stuff. But they are so they're bungee slings. But
I'm
the
actually looking at it right now. Yeah.
are you okay?
Okay.
So
That's a
his we bought two of them for our real steel, for our one for AK, one for an A4. I mean a M4, and he the what he uses for the strap is like this tubular kind of material. It's so fucking soft because slings are kind of harsh on the edges.
yeah. The majority of them are just like nylon, it's like a
Yeah, they're
strap of
nylon,
nylon.
and they're burned or whatever, heated, or however they're pressed, how they're cut on the edges
Yeah.
so they don't fray.
Yeah.
And that shit will cut into your neck if you have exposed skin, if it rides up on your neck. And these ones, bro, they're so fucking good, and they can go single point or
Important.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I like that because I used to have the Magpul slims which you do that, but I like that he did it because it's a good design.
well,
Being
when
able
it
to switch.
yeah, it's you can switch, and also because they're bungee like that, it's yeah, they're really good, man. You have to check them out. But so anyway, he does a lot of good training videos, that are practical, practical use and stuff. So hell yeah. Well, listen, dude, it's been awesome meeting you. I'm really glad we got to get on here. I was not really like I said, I wasn't when you sent me the message. I thought about not doing the video part. I thought I've never really done that. So this is the first one.
That's good.
So
That's first time.
congratulations. Yeah, dude, it was really cool. I'll put like I said, I'll do a video overlay thing or whatever,
Yeah, like you said,
slideshow of
and
your pictures.
I'll collect as much photos that are relevant to what we. I try to remember what we talked about to try to
They
get
don't. No. You don't
relevant
even have to.
photos.
You don't even have to be that specific. No.
Okay.
Just you pick the whatever photos you would want presented, whatever ones you like the best, I guess. If you
Okay.
had a bunch of them, I'll just put them on a loop, or add
Yeah.
my own stuff in if you don't have enough to cover. I mean, we talked for 2 hours,
Yeah,
so
man, you edit all that down, to all the dead space and all that. So,
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
How
So
okay? How much time do you think I have to like
so
grow? Yeah.
this won't release for another like 2 weeks.
Okay, I guess time to dig through my
Yeah.
photos.
hmm Yeah. So what is today? Tuesday. So you got uh, till 10 days to 14 days before this will
Okay.
come out. Um, so because I release these every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So and I've already got things recorded until next Wednesday. No, Friday. Next
Ugh.
Friday. So
So you got a good backlog to work through.
yeah, I have a
Yeah.
backlog. So it's I've had people ask me to do live, and I've done a couple of these live where it just it's already it's live. So I don't like doing that too much because most of the time what the couple times I've tried doing that in the past, we've had issues with internet, somebody else's internet or their audio, and I can't edit that.
There's too many
And
variables you have to
it
account for.
bugs me. It bugs
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I don't like the finished product. So I like to have a fairly smooth conversation. So if something cuts out and there's a long pause, like if we have to wait for somebody, 10
Like
seconds for,
we're looking up
yeah.
videos or gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right? I like cutting those things out if it's too long because if somebody's listening to this, a lot of the traffic we get is from the audio part, so Spotify and whatever. So,
It's easier listening, yeah. Just
oh,
passive.
for sure. I had
Yeah.
somebody message me a couple days ago said, "Hey, I love watching these, but I don't have a lot of time, and a lot of these are really long. So that he watched them on YouTube, and I said, well, quit watching them. Go to just listen to them while you're driving to work or while you're working. Put them on Spotify or whatever podcast app. And he's like, oh, okay. And then I realized, oh shit, I guess I should probably put that in the description.
Yeah,
Like,
because that's how I consume all my podcasts is at work, pretty much. I just have it played in the background while I'm working.
absolutely.
Like, yeah, because I joke my boss like that's the only reason I have a job is just to like catch up on my backlog of podcasts.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever listen to my podcast. Am I off time? I'm not listening to them. I guess if I'm out shopping, I guess. But if I'm like at home, like I don't touch them. I
Yeah,
save them.
no
I
shit,
save
dude.
them.
I
I
don't
save them
either.
for work.
Yes, me too. Me
Like, oh,
too.
I can't wait to go to work tomorrow. I can catch up. I can catch up on the podcast.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I know. Well, listen, bro, it's been great talking with you. Where can people find all your good shit online?
The main thing right now is just the one I linked that the After Action Airsoft on Facebook. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you just drop that on I guess on the video when it comes out,
Yeah.
that's the most active place I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Like I said, you won't see many photos of me. Like I said, my thing is just making everybody else look cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not a big deal. Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's nice talking. It's fun.
Absolutely. Well, everyone listening, definitely go check his pictures out. I'll have a link in the description, and go share the airsoft love and let him know that you found his pictures and his page through this podcast, tell him E-Rock sent you, and we'll get his Facebook page blown up. So, all right, brother.
All right.
I appreciate you, man. You have a good night.
Thanks again. You too.